Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining today. We're having an Ask the Expert for our Introducing Modern Admin Capabilities to Better Service Microsoft 365 Apps for Enterprise. We hope you just joined our digital breakout. We're here to answer any questions you might have about anything that you heard in that session, from intelligent insights to cloud-based controls to automated services. We've announced a lot of things at Ignite this week, and we know that you must have a lot of questions about those. So we have a bunch of people on this call today to answer those questions. We have a lot of MVPs that are here to help answer those questions in our chat. We'd love for you to throw those questions in a chat. If we can go to the next slide, I'll help you understand what can do a great job of making this a really worthwhile conversation for you. If we can go to the next slide. Great. So use the chat to ask your questions. Once you put your question in the chat, the question will appear to all attendees once it is approved by our moderator. We'd love for you to use the little thumbs up button to upvote those questions so that we can see what everyone would like to hear, and we'll try to get to all the questions if we can. But if we have a ton of questions, it really helps us to know which ones are the most popular. We'll answer some questions verbally. If we have a lot of questions, we might end up doing some of the questions in the chat. I'll be trying to help determine that by the volume of questions. And then we have a bunch of resources at the very end that we'll go over as well. So when the session concludes, I'll point you to a lot of other resources you can use after the session's over. And so on the next slide, I have a couple more things to go through. So the session may be recorded, and if you can help our moderators and me out and all the people in the chat, please do not spam or post inappropriate comments. Please adhere to the Microsoft Code of Conduct, which you'll also see in the chat, and it's also on this next slide. And so with that, I'm going to go and start the introductions. I'm Susan Cockrell. I'm a Senior Program Manager on the Office Insider program. I'm going to turn it over to Terry for him to give his introduction right now. Terry, take it away.
Yeah, hi, I'm Terry Farrell. I'm a PM lead here in Dublin, and looking forward to your questions today. So.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry. And next we'll go on to Martin. Martin, if you can give everyone an idea of what you do.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Martin Notnagel, based in Germany. I'm with the Microsoft 365 Apps Ranger team. So I'm working with customers implementing these new features and capabilities. Thanks.
Fantastic. Next, we'll go on to Darren. Darren, can you give an introduction?
Of course. Good morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Darren Doyle. I am a program manager working on delivering these new capabilities that we talked about today. So everything from inventory currency and purposing profiles. So looking forward to answering any questions you might have on those new features.
Fantastic. Thanks. And next is Javier.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening as well. My name is Javier Carrillo. I am a program manager in Microsoft, working with Microsoft 365 Apps, in particular with the Microsoft 365 Apps Health dashboard that has been announced this week. So looking forward to answer all of your questions as well. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Javier. And last but not least, we have Amesh. If you can give your introduction.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amesh Manzakani, and I'm a program manager in the Office Engineering team, focused on helping organizations like yourselves to better manage Office throughout its entire life cycle. So glad to be here with everybody.
Fantastic. Great. With that, we will go ahead and move on to our questions. I see that we've had a couple questions come in as we've started the session. So our first question that I see in the chat window is the MS Apps portal available already? So let's see, who's the right person to answer this one? Maybe Darren? Do you want to take this one? Great.
Sure, no problem. So the new features and capabilities that we've shown today in the apps portal will be available on config.office.com. Starting today, Microsoft 365 Apps Health will be available, and into October you will start to see the other capabilities such as inventory and servicing profile show up.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, so the next question that I see is what have been some of the popular questions from other M365 Ask the Expert sessions? That's a great question. I have not been able to attend some of the other M365 sessions because I've been focused on this one. I don't know if we have any other sessions. I think Amesh, did you do another Ask the Expert session, or did you have just another digital breakout that you did?
I did another digital breakout. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, we've had some great questions on our sessions. Amesh, I wanted to see if you wanted to talk a little bit about what some of the questions were that we've had on our sessions that you felt like were the most popular.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a couple that were talked about, exactly when are the new features that we just announced, when they're going to be available. So I know Darren just mentioned those. That's one of the popular ones. Also, it's the other one that we keep hearing is, how about the integration with Intune or with the Microsoft Endpoint Manager? And that is something that we are actually actively doing as well. We're working with that team closely to ensure that all the capabilities that you saw in the demos earlier are going to be available to you in that same console. So if you are using a single console like MEM, we will certainly ensure that we light those capabilities up there as well. For those of you who are not and want a dedicated area, the Apps Admin Center is the place to go for that.
Great. Fantastic. That was very helpful. So the next question that I see is, does Microsoft plan to have retention policies for apps that are deleted? That's a good one. Maybe, who wants to take that one? Maybe Martin? Or, oh, I hear someone, was that Terry?
Yeah, that's Darren. I can take that.
Good. Okay, great.
So currently in the imagery experience that we've shown today, we will have a retention policy of devices after 30 days will go into an inactive state, and after 180 days they will be removed from the imagery.
Okay, fantastic. The next question is, we've been moving Office Apps Management from Sccm to Intune. Where does the Apps Admin Center fit into this picture? Let's see.
I think that's the one Amesh just talked about, so maybe he can add more.
Yeah, Amesh, do you want to chat a little bit more about this one?
Yep, certainly. So right now we do have the Apps Admin Center, and for those of you who are moving to Intune today does a great job in doing deployments and setting up the configurations. It doesn't have all the other capabilities that we are building today in the Apps Admin Center, but like I mentioned earlier, we will be bringing those directly into Intune to ensure that you can do things like ongoing service management. Actually, we've recently released the ability to do policy management with Intune or for Office. But again, all the new servicing capabilities that you're going to be seeing, the inventory, the security currency, all of that will start lighting up Intune within, I would say shortly.
Great.
Thank you.
Just to add to that,
yeah, Terry,
on the management. So the health, the M365 apps health is kind of independent of the management tool you're using. So whether you're using Intune or these new management capabilities, the health is kind of it's separate from that. You can kind of use it in parallel. All that requires is that you have diagnostics enabled to see the new health insights.
Great. Let's see. This one's a great one. How do we manually force Office to update via an automated process? And where do we look for logs to troubleshoot the update process? Our scenario is that we use software called Deep Freeze on lab computers. It prevents changes from occurring on the system. We have a scheduled 5-hour maintenance window in which it does allow changes to the system, but we're having problems with Office never installing updates. So this sounds like maybe a Ranger question. So maybe Martin?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
So the answer could be pretty long. I try to kind of squeeze it into 30 seconds. If the Office applications are getting updates from the cloud, there is the scheduled task that you can see, which is triggering the update. So you could trigger this scheduled task manually to kind of give Office a nudge. We are within this 5-hour window, check for updates now. If you use, for example, Config Manager, of course, you have to schedule Config Manager properly that Config Manager will try to install within this 5-hour window. So these are the two ways, depending on how you manage the applications. Regarding the troubleshooting, the log files are located in the temp folder of the user triggering the update, or from a service. So in C Windows temp are log files, but they are pretty hard to read. So maybe that's a case to go through with our support.
Okay.
Thanks. Back to Susan.
Yeah, that's great. That's super helpful, I'm sure, for that person. So the next one I've got for Darren, will these new features in the dashboard support older clients, such as the add-in reporting and version distribution reports?
Thanks, Susan. These new versions start from version 2006 of the Office product. So in preview, you will see these in MEC, SAC, the semi-annual channel preview, and the current channel. So this won't support the older versions, but I'm going to hand over to Javier around the health, the M365 apps health that we just announced around the support for that.
Thanks, Darren. Yeah, for Microsoft 365 Apps Health, in reality, we are supporting we are providing insights to you for devices that have versions of the apps from 1903 and above, because it's all based on diagnostics data that is just being shared through the apps.
Yeah, Javier, just to add to that, specifically, the perpetual versions of Office aren't supported. This is for the subscription clients.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Okay, great. Fantastic. So next question is, do you control update channels from MEM or the Office portal? So maybe is that maybe another Martin question?
Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah. Great, Martin, take it away.
All right. So basically, we give you both options. Both ways would work. You can do it through Endpoint Manager. You can do it through Config Manager. You can use group policy objects to control the update channel, or once we have released it, the so-called quick actions to move devices. So it's really like which tools are you using, which tools are you most familiar with, which tools do have the best reach into your environment at the moment with maybe a lot of people working from home. So we can use all these tools to switch update channels. We have documentation on this. I will paste the link into the chat. Thanks. Back to Susan.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Are there any plans to add new apps to M365 apps like Yammer? Ooh, that's a new one. I'm not sure. Terry, do you have any insight into this?
Yeah, we're really supporting the client apps that you deploy. So on your desktop. So Yammer is more of a web app. So that's not in the first wave of things. But we will be adding health insights on the usage of that service later on.
Great.
To add to what Terry said there, we are also doing web app configurations from both policy standpoint, so you're able to manage some of those. We do that today for anonymous access to things like Word Online, Excel Online, and so on. So those are available to you right now. We're not doing anything for Yammer just yet. But if there is enough demand for those kind of configurations, we will certainly be adding that to the Apps Admin Center as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amesh, for adding on to that. Thank you. So another one, do you need MDM for using Apps Portal? I'm not sure which of, can someone hand raise on this one if this is your area? Amesh, great, yeah. We'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, so no, it's not a requirement to use MDM. So there's a couple of things that you can do here. When you're doing things like the servicing profile and you're actually setting those up, you have you would certainly not want another management tool to interfere in managing the actual updates of those particular devices. But let's just say you're looking at the inventory of those devices, but you want to continue to do servicing through an MDM or configuration manager or whichever method that you are currently using. That too will also be supported, so you can get information out of the Apps Admin Center while continuing to manage via your existing processes as you decide or determine if you'd like to move over to something like the servicing profile.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, this is another one, kind of like a personal customized problem or issue. So there it says there we're struggling with different client behaviors, e.g. Outlook for iOS. If an email is dropped in a spam folder, it's reported automatically. On other clients, report message added and has to be used. So I'm wondering, maybe, I don't know if this is a kind of a ranger question or if anyone has any, maybe I throw this over to Martin. Do you have any suggestions?
I'm afraid I don't have any insights or advice
on this one. Okay. Yeah, this, I mean, it's definitely, this one sounds like it's a very custom issue. So I'm not sure if anyone has any suggestions. It looks like we do have an MVP that is replying to this one right now. So we'll keep working on this one, and if we have any answers, we'll come back to you on this one. So another question that just popped in is, in a co-managed scenario, deploying M365 click to run from Sccm, what would be the best way to uninstall apps such as Project and Vizio 2019? We want to minimize disruption to the end users, as at the moment they have to close most of the M365 suite of apps down to complete the uninstall. So let's see.
I can take it, Martin.
Okay, great. Yeah, Martin, I'd love to throw that one to you.
Okay. So if in this scenario we're required to uninstall a project Vizio 2019, we actually have to remove the files on disk, and this doesn't work if these files are in use. So there's basically no way around that the user has to close the applications. We get rid of the old binaries, put the new binaries in, and the user is back in the game. But usually this process takes between, in my environments, between 12 and 20 minutes. If you see this process taking much, much longer, you should investigate what is eating up the performance on these machines. So it's not the old MSI worlds where the machine is blocked for an hour. There's a disruption for user, but it should be much shorter in the click to run world. Thanks. Back to Susan.
Great. All right, well, it looks like we've kind of run to the end of some of the questions that are in our posts. Again, please keep the questions coming if you've got any other things. We've got a whole slate of people standing by. I wanted to see if we could have, we've made a lot of announcements here at Ignite this week, and again, if you didn't join that digital breakout session just before this, it's a great one to go back and rewatch that Alesh and Amesh just gave. But Javier, I'm wondering if maybe you want to give a little bit of a talk about app health and some of the stuff that we've talked about and announced this week at Ignite.
Of course, Susan, thank you. Microsoft 365 Apps Health is a dashboard that is available on the Microsoft Admin Center, config.office.com, that is powered by your diagnostics information from your own Office apps, from your own Office clients. As such, it will help you optimize and troubleshoot any issue that is happening with your Office apps or your Office clients in your environment. It's going to provide the IT admins, in this case you, the insights about whether there are regressions with those applications in terms of performance and reliability. And there are a series of metrics that are being monitored at the moment, and we will add over time more metrics in order to cover more scenarios for your applications. And whenever, as I said, there is a regression with them, you will be alerted, notified about that in the dashboard. And in the same manner, you will also be able to explore the performance and reliability of your applications across apps, across the clients in your environment. For example, let's say that you are particularly concerned about Excel. You can see how Excel is behaving over time and across your whole tenant. But and in the same manner, you will be able to do the same by channels and builds. Let's say that you just deployed a build a couple of months ago and you want to see how it's evolving, or you just adopted the current channel for your organization for a subset of users and you want to see how that is behaving over time as well. You will be able to monitor the same performance and reliability metrics. And the idea with this is that you ultimately gain confidence by having the right level of visibility on what is going on with these applications in your organization. It's available from today, this afternoon. We will be enabling Dublin time. And for most of you, there will be no additional action to take. You will just be able to sign in into Microsoft Apps Admin Center and voila, see your insights right away available for you. Back to you, Susan.
Fantastic. That was a great rundown. Thank you so much. That's super helpful. So great. And there's another thing that I think we wanted to cover off, and it kind of ties into one question that I see here. And the thing is, Terry, I was hoping that you could also maybe talk a little bit about the new monthly enterprise channel and maybe why people would want to choose the monthly enterprise channel. And we did get a question in here that says, could we share the reason why Microsoft changed the default update channel from semi-annual channel to current channel? So I just wanted to see if maybe you could weave that answer in with also, you know, the intro to the monthly enterprise channel, because I think they're all kind of tied together.
Sure. Well, there's two parts of the question. There's one, why do we recommend the monthly channels, either current channel or monthly enterprise channel? And we recommend that because that is the latest and greatest productivity experience, the best security, the best performance and reliability that you're getting. We see customers have higher user satisfaction across their companies with it because people are using the latest productivity and collaboration features. We see higher teamwork. We see, you know, more collaboration when people are on the newer clients on that. And we also think it's better as well from an update point of view to kind of keep going with the incremental updates rather than, you know, waiting for one of those kind of big bang updates. Users absorb those changes much better over time with it. Another benefit we see is that consistency across platforms. So within the experience you have inside of Teams and on mobile and on desktop, the latest channels have the best one. Now, there are two channels there. There's the current channel and the monthly enterprise channel. And we introduced the monthly enterprise channel for customers who want that extra predictability of, you know, one single update once a month, timed at the same time as the security updates, so you can touch the devices once on that. And the other benefit I just call out of the monthly channels is there's a kind of tighter feedback loop. So if you do find an issue, then the chances of us turning that around and fixing it are a lot quicker. And there's a higher bar. We do obviously fix issues in the older semi-annual channels, but there's a kind of higher bar on that than there is for the ongoing current channel and monthly enterprise channel. So that's a kind of summary of the top reasons why we think they're definitely the best channels for customers, CC or MEC.
Yeah, great, thanks. Hopefully that answers your question. And I see we got another question, and Darren's kind of given an answer, but I wanted to throw it out there in case people aren't looking directly in the chat. But is there a preview program to see the info in config.office.com before the release date? So Darren, you know, I know you threw an answer into the chat, but would you like to give an answer over video?
Sure.
Great.
No problem. Thanks. Yeah, so the new features that we've announced today will start going live, as Javier actually mentioned, later today with Microsoft 365 Apps Health. And then into October, you'll start to see the inventory and servicing profile and security currency parts of the config.office.com portal light up as well. So you'll just need to log on and you'll be able to see those things there.
Great. Thank you. Let's see. We've got one more question. Will there be more and more auto updates like it is already in the Teams client? So, any volunteers to take that one? I'm not sure who to throw that one to. Yeah,
I guess this is Terry. I guess I'm not sure what the question is. The channel decides how often it's updated. Now, we obviously do recommend that you configure it to take the updates from Microsoft, to use our deployment services, like to use Click to Run, to use our CDNs, you know, rather than the kind of more manual process of copying the bits down to your own distribution points and pointing to that. So, you know, the best way to take the updates is to leave it to the Microsoft update services and our CDN. And we've done a lot of investment in reducing the size of the updates and in optimizing the network bandwidth with delivery optimization and connected cache to take care of that. So I hope that answers the question.
I think if I may add to that, this is Javier, is also the fact that one of the channels that is recommended by Microsoft, the monthly enterprise channel, has as one of its core principles having that predictable single update that happens just once a month. Again, to simplify things for organizations that want to move fast, that want to have the latest features and so on for their end users, but at the same time want to be able to reliably have a date on which they know the update will come, rather than having it just popping up, so to speak, not randomly but more frequently. So that is one of the promises of the monthly enterprise channel, if that is something that particular customer is concerned about, just the predictability.
And I guess to further add, so this is Darren here. One of the principles of some of the new features and functionality that we've announced and discussed today is really around insights and controls. So with inside of the things like servicing profiles, there's a lot of controls around things like blackout, the dates that you don't want updates to happen, what kind of time frame you want updates to roll out in, and what kind of controls around the amount of network use, etc. So while we want to simplify it and help you automate these things in a much quicker and easier fashion for each monthly update, in the case of the monthly enterprise channel or the current channel, we still do give you that control over how that deployment and how that rollout of those new bits happen.
Great. Great. Okay. Let's see. Do we have another question in here? Looks like maybe this one. What can we do to prep our network for receiving updates from the cloud? We are afraid that the updates will congest our internet circuits. Martin, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
It's a kind of a common question. So currently we have the scenario that most of the workforce is working from home using their own internet connectivity. So as long as organization can break out the traffic from the VPN tunnel, it's working fine. So that's one important step for the work from home scenario, to make sure that you have split tunneling enabled, so you can break out this traffic and it's not flowing back into your organization and to the internet, from internet to your organization and back to the user. With people returning to the office, but still receiving updates from our Office CDN, from our backend, of course, there's a risk that you have maybe hundreds or thousands of devices pulling down updates at the same time. So that's why there's a service called Delivery Optimization built into Windows, which enables these devices to share the content with each other. So that's a very important stepping stone for on-prem scenarios, that this built-in service is not disabled. It's enabled by default, and you as an admin can configure it, like how should devices group together, so which device should share content with each other, to make sure that a low number of devices is pulling down the content and then is sharing it with the other devices on your on-prem network. So the delivery optimization, and there's also a cache mechanism which you can build in your network called connected cache. So these two technologies are key for on-prem networks which want to receive updates directly from the Microsoft backend. Thanks. Back to Susan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Martin. Looks like we have time for one more question. And it says, in the video, it looked like you could control updates based on user. Can you also set up update rings by device? So let's see. I'm not sure. Maybe, is this a Martin question again?
And that's for Amesh, I think.
It's Amesh.
Maybe Amesh? Okay. Amesh, you want to take this one?
As you mentioned, like what we're doing is we're ring fencing the number of devices that you have there, and we're going to be putting out in waves where essentially we're going to start calculating which are the right set of devices. And then once those sets are done, it's going to go to the next wave. Can you define, and I guess the question is, can you define when those devices get to be assigned to each and any one of those waves? Right now, we are evaluating of doing adding devices or allowing you to add devices in the last wave and potentially in the first wave. So that's something that we're currently looking into. Nothing that we are going to be releasing at the moment, But if you guys have feedback around that, it's something that we could certainly do. The reason we're not allowing that off the bat is because we're leveraging signals to help ensure that we can determine on your behalf what are those devices that are going to be deployed, and those signals can then tell us if something is going wrong, and we can help pause those devices automatically for you to ensure that we're not causing any more disruption for those set of devices or that particular set of configuration. Now, this is great in helping you reduce your overall workload, because that's something that we are continuously striving to do. But obviously, it's going to take time for us to get to that level. And therefore, we're starting, like I said, with just the waves itself. And then we'll look at ways that give you more control in order to leverage that.
Great. Thank you so much for that great answer. So it looks like I think we're at time. And I think we should probably wrap up with our resources. Like we mentioned, we have a lot of resources in our tech community space at aka.ms M365 app space. There's a blog post there where you're going to find a ton of information that we've posted. We also have a lot of information on docs.microsoft.com, some of which has been posted in our chat window here. We recorded a plethora of videos for everyone to watch, skilling videos around deployment, a lot of the stuff that you heard here on the call today, a lot of which you haven't seen yet. So definitely go check it out at aka.ms/Microsoft Ignite 2020/office. That's where you're going to find a lot of that information. And then once you've gotten through all of this content from Ignite this week, we're going to be back here in a couple of weeks doing another Ask Us Anything at aka.ms M365 app space. So you'll be able to come back, ask us all your questions after you've had a chance to go through everything. So just make sure that you bookmark that and come back to talk to us again. But we really thank you for all of these really thoughtful questions and coming here today to chat with us. It's been so wonderful talking to you, and we want to thank all the MVPs who've helped us support this session today. It's been wonderful to have them giving such great answers and being wonderful SMEs. And thanks again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.